hello there. And we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. See ya, guys. It's the big one, yeah? It's the big one. It's the big one, guys. See, it's Real Talk today. And you know what, yeah? With Real Talk, I have number one person, yeah? This guy, yeah?
Hold tight, Ryan.
This guy, yeah, has really been tremendous to me. He was one of the first YouTubers, yeah, to come on my show. I just sent him a message, yeah, online, and I said, MCFC Daps, please, I need you on my show. This guy, yeah, out of the whole big YouTubers out there, he was one of the first persons to tell me, you know what, homie, I will jump on your show. And it means a lot when your channel is a small channel, you know, and you need one of these big YouTubers to come around and bless it up. That's my respect for this guy, yeah.
Firstly,
MCFC Daps, our big guest down here, yeah, from Never Foul Football.
We were all there, but we were all there.
Yeah, we're all there.
No
right?
channel is bigger. Just some channels have got luckier breaks. That's all it is. All we're doing is being football fans talking about football. So it's not that, like, I'm not an ITK. I have no clue. Like, I've got no ins at the club at all. Yeah, I got kicked out the ground on Sunday, right? Like, so even doing stuff with the club, it doesn't help you. Being all that, we are just ultimately like football fans talking about football. So and do you know what? Recently, because it's got to a point now where it's harder for me now because I have a day job. Like, I'm not making enough money off of this to do it as a full-time job. I have a daughter. I have a life. I have my own channel that now I do at least one show every single day. And then I've got other commitments. And I feel bad sometimes when I say no to people. And like the other day, I think, where was I? Someone had messaged me asking if I'd do a preview for the Chelsea game. I was like, absolutely no problem. Then like half hour before the show is messaging me. I didn't see it. So I feel bad. But all this is people talking about football. More so when I came on, right?
Yeah.
I hope that in hindsight, young man, have you gone back and watched the show, by the way?
Man, I've gone back to watch that show, man.
Because I went back. So I wish I could watch every single show I've done, right? Firstly, for clips. It would be amazing to go through, get all the clips of things you said, especially my journey this season, right? But going back and watching that show and then how the season's ended, I was like, because, right, last season, everyone used to tell me, especially towards the end of the season, you need to have more chest. You need to be like maybe less humble, more chest. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not a new City fan. I'm an old City fan. It's natural in us. This is just the way we are, right? And furthermore, I've always had this thing that I try and look after my own mental health by not getting my expectations too high. So I think if you get your expectations too high, you can really crash down, right? So I try and really... But at the start of this season, with the fact we'd been so good for so long and the fact we had Haaland, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to have more chest. And so I was really back in City, and I go back and look at that. And some people like, Daps, it's coming across arrogant and whatever. I'm like, but it isn't, because when it got to a point, I can tell you the day after the Tottenham game, Tottenham away, where we lost, right? I was in a very bad place mentally, not only because of football, but also because of other stuff going on. And I was falling out with people over football. And then we had the charges that came out the next day. And at that point, it got to a point where me and Steve were both saying, we still believe City will win the league. But whereas before we could base it on many other things, now we're literally basing it on the fact that we just honestly believe when it's the right time, we'll come alive. And going back and looking at it, Tony, come on, sort out your network.
Dabs, the first time you start trying to please people is when you hit problems, you know what I mean? So just be yourself, man.
No, it's just, you know what, the comments
that many people, that many loads of people will come out and tell you to flex and tell you to say it with your chest, and then you try that, but then that's gonna go against people that want you to be humble. So if you want to be humble, man, be humble. If you want to,
the comments are there for the comments, innit? I mean, this year, ultimately, the maddest thing with Arsenal fans, right, is that, so going into, right, in the summer, I was asked to go on so many shows to talk about Zinchenko and talk about Jesus, right? And I had Arsenal fans asking me, is Jesus going to be good enough? Will he score a fixed number of goals? And I said, look, don't concentrate on the number of goals the man will bring you. Your output as a team will go up with him there. Yeah. Zinchenko, all about Zinchenko. I had Arsenal fans telling me neither were good enough. Same with Arteta. I've backed Arteta from day one, right? And I was very complimentary of Arsenal, non-stop. From the first game when you played Crystal Palace away on a Friday night, I said, listen, I know as a City fan, Palace away in the evening is a hard game, yeah? And the fact you won that, I was so complimentary of Arsenal, but every time, because I try and talk honestly, if I then say one negative thing, for example, I was on a show giving Arsenal total props on overcoming every single hurdle, right? And complete props, but then someone said, we're killers. And I said, whoa. You're not killers. You're getting the job done. Killers are what Man City were in maybe, the seasons where we beating teams 4-5-0. You're not killers. Instantly, the comments like, you hate us. And I'm like, I've spent half the show saying how good you are. Just don't get ahead of yourselves. And you know what? When I go back to, there's a key moment as well with Arsenal was in January when the week building up to the FA Cup game. And I looked at it and I said, right. And at that point, we weren't looking good. Arsenal were looking really good. And I said, right, no one should rotate in this game because we've got 7 days, you've got 8 days or vice versa till our next game. This is not about the FA Cup. This is about the fact that Arsenal have overcome every single hurdle except for the fact that your record against City over several years is really, really bad. So while we are playing badly, come to the Etihad, play your full-strength team and show your boys that you can compete with Manchester City. Not because of the FA Cup, but because what that will tell you when we have to come to the Emirates, because in your players' heads will be, we've overcome another hurdle. When you didn't beat us, and Arsenal fans were going, it's fine because, I still think we looked good considering we rotated. I said, it's not about that. Mentally, once again, City have got the better of you. So when we come to the Emirates now, that's going to be in their head. And I honestly think that's where Arsenal have come short. And with City, ultimately, where we've come right is the fact that business end of the season, we just know how to get it done. I will admit, I didn't think you lot were going to. I honestly, there were points where I was looking at the Liverpool and Newcastle game and going, if Arsenal get something out of those 2 games, because I knew our last 4 games, we had Brighton, Brentford, Fulham, Everton away. And I was looking at all our home games going, we win them, but Brighton away, last night we drew 1-1. Admittedly, we rotated, but I think Arsenal just... I mean, do you know what? The Newcastle result was great. I thought, they've bounced back. But then again, the week after, it's just that inexperience. And I honestly think underestimating teams that are fighting relegation away from home. I really think that's the key. The West Ham second half, where you locked 2-0 up, and the Olympic Stadium, or whatever it's called now, was so loud that second half. And I think that was because West Ham's 12th man knew they needed to be that 12th man. Same with Forest last week. I think I always looked at that and said, Forest, if they're fighting relegation, that ground's going to be rocking. It's an old school ground. But yeah, it is what it is. It's been a fucking mad season. I mean,
I know what you mean in terms of that FA Cup game. I feel exactly the same. I feel like that's where the season kind of turned for us. I felt like we should have gone strong in the game, exactly for the reason it was a while till our next game. It kind of felt to me, because I went to the game, and when we seen the team, I was kind of like, are we preparing for an excuse kind of thing, like rotating a bit, so then we could say, listen, we lost, but we put up a fight with a second string team, and we were already trying to deal an excuse. I feel we should have gone strong for it. If we had a full strength team and we beat you in the FA Cup, the confidence booster that we could get off that. Confidence was sky high at the time anyway.
Exactly. And ours was low. So it would have been it would have been not only a confidence boost for you, but it would have been a kick in the face to us. And you're spot on that what that would have done is that would have literally told all your players that final hurdle, which is Man City, and the fact that going into that, I think in the last 14, we'd won 14, you'd won 1, right? If you would have beat us, that would have been ultimately that whole record is void now. That's gone. We've got rid of that. This team that overcome hurdles has overcome another one.
Not even just for us. If we beat you at the Etihad in the FA Cup, that tells other teams that Man City is beatable as well. Yeah. Now, like you were saying, you weren't playing the best then anyway. You were kind of coming out of your rough patch, but I think like it boosted you and it kind of dented us in a way. But like I said, even when you're struggling, going to the Etihad and winning in a cup match is kind of unheard of at the minute. So if we could have done that, it shows other teams that you're beatable, and other teams can get that confidence as well. So not even just from us. That FA Cup game was, if we could have lost that, maybe, I don't know, 2-1 or extra time or penalties, it would have been a lot better. But the fact that it was 3-1 and the game was like over and
that was it. And I honestly think that in hindsight, off the back of that, we then came to your place and won. Then when you came to our place, and I just think that was the mentality. Look, I grew up in an era where teams got off the coach at Old Trafford 2-0 down, literally, because everyone knew Old Trafford was just a bad place to go to. And do you know what? The Etihad's, I think it's starting to get the props it deserves now. But I mean, I don't know if you saw what I think, was it Ancelotti said about the Etihad in the Champions League?
Over the years, it has been getting the props.
It's been getting better.
It's literally a slaughterhouse for teams.
And in Europe,
if you go in there, you're giving them the whole respect they deserve.
And in Europe, we now have the best record from a Premier League team ever at home, right? Like we haven't lost since 2018. When I was on City's channel when we did the draw for the Champions League, and someone was asking for Real Madrid, and I said, no, I want Bayern in the quarters because we need one more scalp. Our fan base is starting to believe, but I'm a big believer that your fan base has to believe. If your fan base doesn't believe, you're not ready as a club, right? And going to away European games, you get to really see if the fan base believes or not. And like I was like, after Leipzig, we need one more scalp. And then when we got Bayern, I said, I'm not mad at that. The form they're in, bit hard, second leg, Allianz, not great. But then they also made the draw for the semis. And when I saw Real Madrid's second leg at City, I thought, right, we just have to go out to the Bernabeu and show them, give them don't let them control the game, give them a lot to think about. I was very happy with the draw because we knew coming back to the Etihad, you are not ready for what's going to happen because we really, it's taken a while for us to get up for the Champions League. But and this is something, again, Arsenal fans, don't take this as an insult because I've always compared this season, you lot in Europe, I've compared that to City in previous years in Europe. That I said to a United fan, if you play Arsenal twice in the Premier League, they'll beat you both times. If you play them in the Europa League, I honestly think you'll beat them because United fans believe, Arsenal fans, because your history in Europe's similar to ours. We're just not quite there yet. You have to have that journey to start believing. And I honestly feel this season, it feels so different. Look, we've been to a Champions League final before, even though it was a Chelsea team that weren't looking that great in the league. I was nervous. I'm going into this final thinking, we're winning this. I really sense we're winning it. It's just what Pep's done this season is different gravy. It really, really is. And Arteta needs to learn. I think the other thing you boys need massively is experienced league winners, right? Not multiple. Gundogan's a perfect example. I don't think you'll get Gundogan, but that's the type of level you need. You need someone that has experience of winning leagues, because Jorginho has experience of winning trophies, but a player that can come in and just, you've got passion. You've got more than enough passion in that team. You need one or two level-headed, experienced, 38 games, calm down boys. And then I think you'll go again. I do think you're going to spend big this summer. You're not the Arsenal having to pay off a stadium. You're not the Arsenal that hasn't got Champions League football. You're an Arsenal that is now debt-free, and you're an Arsenal that has Champions League football. I have no doubt you'll spend big. And if you get one more centre-back of Gabriel's level, right, another DM and a forward I think you can push it a lot closer next season. A lot closer.
MCFC Daps, yeah. See,
just call me Daps. You don't need to do the MCFC.
Daps is okay. Yeah, Daps. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Daps. Arsenal has got at least up to 3 to 4 31-year-olds in the middle of the park. I don't need any other 31-year-olds, man in my midfield. We have an El Neni. We gave him a new contract last season.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're not getting it, bro. You're not getting it. El Neni, what's he won?
He's worth nothing.
What's Shaka won?
Shaka just FA Cups, right?
Right. And this is what I'm saying. They don't have to, by the way, Gundogan, I hear you. I'm not saying a Gundogan. What I am saying is someone that has been in a league 38 games and ended up coming out on top now and has experience. 27, 28, just someone that can calm the players down around him. Yeah. Jorginho was almost the right mold, but in hindsight, I don't think he's done any. He might have done a league in Italy, maybe, but doing a league and doing a cup is very, very different, because doing a league is knowing sometimes to just
Jorginho won the league with Chelsea though, with Conte, didn't he? I'm sure Jorginho was in the Chelsea team because he played under Conte.
And as for this, I'll correct. I am wrong then. On this empty ad, people, you need to stop calling it the empty ad. If you go to games, the Etihad is never empty. So, you can keep doing that to try and use that last little bit of slander on our club, but it's not cool. It's not empty ever. And also, your club witnessed it. Whoever you support, if you've played us this season, you've witnessed. Do you know what? The only time the Etihad is actually quite quiet, and I think you'll probably say the same about Arsenal, is when you're playing kind of games that has no relevance. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like I can tell you, Brentford at home, Brighton at home, Everton at home, the atmosphere was flat as hell, right? And I'll be completely honest. There are games you go to at the Etihad where the atmosphere is flat, yeah? If you're playing against Arsenal in a title race, you're playing against Man United, you're playing against Real Madrid, you're playing against it's not quiet. So all of that, leave that alone. Leave that. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe did Jorginho win a title with Conte then? First season?
I think so.
Yeah, he did. And he also has a very, very good international record also anyway.
100%.
Because that's why we signed him. Exactly why what you're saying is why we need Gundogan, which I agree with. Yeah. But that's why we signed him, for that kind of.
Do you think too late coming in January then? Maybe
kind
too
of
late coming in?
Settle it down in the middle of the park when everyone else is frantic, and knowing what it takes to actually win it. That's exactly why we signed him. But
do you
I think we just needed slightly
late?
Extra bit of a quality.
Yeah,
which is why looking at Gundogan.
Yeah. I think. Look, if you get Gundogan, if you get Gundogan,
Arsenal,
can I just say, if you get
very horrible deals when it comes from getting players, from the rival teams. Look at Willian, look at what he came to do at Arsenal. A paycheck. Arsenal have become a dumping ground for this guy.
No, they haven't. No, do you know what, bro? I'll
mind you, the dynamics surrounding Manchester City might not really be the same that other one might come to Arsenal to face. That's what I'm saying.
But bro, that's the thing. Look, Arteta has changed so much at your club to make the dynamics at your club so much better. The first interview he did, he spoke on the dynamics of your club. He spoke on how the dynamics of your club was so damn bad, right? He spoke on how he had to change that, and he has changed that. You talk about his signings, no problem. You can list off bad signings, but you can also list off that with the fact that you didn't have Champions League football, he went and got, at last, you weren't going and getting players that were joining you because you're a fashionable club that would pay big money and are based in London. He was getting players that were joining you because they believed in his project. He was getting young players that will listen to him and will play his style of football. Because ultimately, as a manager, if players won't listen and believe in your philosophy, they're not worth having. They really aren't, because they're not going to. And I think he's done the right job. Do you know what? In hindsight, I do think you were naive in January and unfortunate, because you definitely were in the business. You were in the transfer market to strengthen, right? But unfortunately, you went and bought Trossard, great signing. I would have took him at City at the time, right? Great signing. But then you thought you could also go and get Caicedo for a decent price. Now, if you've just gone and taken one of Brighton players, you should know that they're going to really expect a lot more money because it's January. They can't strengthen. And then the other thing is trying to go up against Chelsea. Unfortunately, it sounds mad coming from a City fan, but honestly, we have got out of the way of doing crap business. We don't do crap business. Chelsea will do crap business, and even more so, will do crap business just to piss Arsenal off, just to piss City off, just to piss Man United off. And that's what that Mudryk deal was. It was, oh, you lot want him, we'll go for him. And ultimately, at that point, they're flying over there, having meetings behind the scenes. You lot were never going to get Mudryk. And I think you just need to get a little more savvy in the transfer market. But I think transfer-wise, Arteta's been pretty damn good, to be honest with you. You can say William, but
Daps. Yeah. See, I've been talking to you through the season. Yeah, you sounded so confident about this league title. Yeah, Arsenal. Yeah, came up with a very, very different one this season. Yeah, even Liverpool. We've not even seen this type of fight from Liverpool. Yeah, having 248 days on top of that league. Even Liverpool never had that. Yeah.
Doesn't matter, bro.
At what point did you think that, oh my God, 248 days top of the Premier League?
I never thought that.
Shake?
Bro, right.
Did you waver at all that Arsenal was going to win this title?
Right. So yes, I did, but not down to your football club. At no point was anything down to your football club. It was down to the fact that for a period, our football club was not our football club, right? And I even said, look, I think when we played you in the FA Cup and Arsenal fans were saying, if we play our full strength team against this Manchester City team, then we beat them. And this is the best Man City team. I said, it's not the best Man City team. Right now, we are not looking like the way we should. And I even said, look, Rico Lewis has come in and done a sterling job at right back. But is Rico Lewis, an 18-year-old, just turned, good enough to win a title race against this Arsenal team? At that point, I said, no, he isn't. I said, we've got a Kanji and Ake who at the time were playing centre-backs together and had never played together, playing as our centre-backs. We looked all over the show, bro. Like, you've got to remember the first start of the season, Stones, Diaz and Laporte all took it in turns to be out injured. And there was issues at City. There was a lot. And I always said, we have to be the best Manchester City to beat this Arsenal team, right? We can't think that we can go into this. And at the time I said, if we don't win this is because we haven't become the best Manchester City. If we become the best Manchester City at the business end of the season, we win the league because that's what we do. Like, you can go back to the Gerrard slip season. I think Arsenal were top until around about December. Then I think Chelsea had a brief moment. Then Liverpool, and everyone thought Liverpool were going to go for it. I think City had a couple of weeks at top because no one else, everyone dropped off. And this is a thing, especially with Pep, that it's really hard to describe it because Liverpool fans will say, we were 1 point, right? Man United fans actually got closer. Man United, we beat by goal difference, right? It's just, and there's only one season that you can truly say City ran away with it. That was the Centurion season. All the other seasons, we've just known how to do enough to win the league, right? And by doing that, that has meant that we've reserved enough energy to allow us to stay consistent in all other trophies, and not just for one season, but the season after. Like Liverpool this season have dropped off because they're probably tired from last season. There's this weird Pep, bro. Do you know what? This season, let's be real. Pep has just proven to me two things. Firstly, by the way he came out when we got accused of all them charges, I liked Pep. I respected Pep as a manager. When he came out and defended us, I started to love Pep because it was the first time he said, no, I love this club and I'm going to come out and defend them, right? And the second thing, this season, the way he's managed the season has just shown me the guy is an absolute damn genius, yeah? And do you know what? Anyone that tries to say, I don't know your takes on Arteta, but anyone that tries to downplay Arteta, listen, you lot are blessed with a manager that has learned and has the respect of Pep, right? if Pep thinks Arteta is worthy to be his second man, Arteta is worthy. Yeah, this Pep is a genius, bro. And we can say Haaland's goals, we can say this, but ultimately there's been periods where Haaland's goals has maybe caused us to lack that control in midfield or defensively not be as good. It's Pep that's had to overcome those issues by tinkering, and it's not, the guy's just unreal, and that's all I can say. It's mad. It's mad. Where we are, bro, it's not even away from the Arsenal thing. The fact we've got an FA Cup final against United, and then we've got a Champions League final for the so we've been in three semi-finals in a row now under this manager. When people say, Pep hasn't done what he was brought into, he's got us to three semi-finals, right? And a final. Well, now two finals. If that isn't improving us in Champions League football, I don't know what is. Winning a Champions League is not easy, yeah? Like, Liverpool fans want all this respect for winning them, but then wants to say that everyone else should win them really easily. A Champions League is... You're coming up against teams like Real Madrid that have won 14 or 15 of them, and we've won none. Do you know how hard that is? Imagine you've got someone that wants to punch your face in, right? That you've fought 14 times, and every single time he's punched your face in, and he turns up at your door angry. Yeah, are you going to be confident? Even if you've been benching, you're not going to be. And this is the thing, that winning Champions Leagues are not easy. And I think, do you know what? And I just, with you lot, yeah, I think this is a reality to you, a reality check that isn't as easy.
It's a reality. It's a big reality check.
But mostly, I do think you can go. I do think, banter aside, you can go again. A good summer, and you can definitely go again. Why can't you?
But see, Daps, see. There's this thing people are always talking about, mostly at the end of the season. Yeah, they were saying, City got double team down there. Their bench is a second team altogether. Like, can you dispel, that talk? Yeah, would you?
Yeah, I can. I've been trying to have this conversation for years.
You guys have the players to do this.
I can.
Or you have the resources to do it. Where does your
so resources wise? So resources wise, if you're looking at spend over, right? So since, correct, I can send you something, but I'm going to people don't expect me to get the decimal right. But since Pep has arrived at Manchester City, City have spent, I think, 1.1 billion. Arsenal spent 1.04. Right, Man United have spent something like 1.3. Chelsea have spent 1.6. Right, Tottenham, I don't know what they've spent. Liverpool, to be fair to Liverpool, they've spent about 6.8. Right, so yes, we've spent, but so has everyone else.
Arsenal has spent £1 billion in
1.04 since Pep arrived. Right, but then the other thing is that this two teams narrative is the funniest thing. And I always say to people, we can do a show on it. If you want to do a show where we get our two squads up, right? And you'll be like, oh, you got to remember, we sold Cancelo in January and we didn't replace him. What I would say is the difference is that, say Arsenal, let me just say Arsenal. If Arsenal have their best 11 out, their best 11 is elite. Let's just say elite. And whether people want to go, he's not elite. Let's just say best 11 elite. City's best 11 elite. But then after Arsenal's best 11, you struggle to find another elite player. The difference is with City that if we're fully fit, we have 11 elite players and another 4 on the bench. After that, like, I'll be honest with you, Gomez, who's our left back, is not getting in your team, right? Calvin Phillips, for me, I'm having Partey or Xhaka over Phillips. Look, the drop-off, but we have 4 or 5 subs that can come in. This whole 2-11s is complete nonsense, right?
It's a fallacy, right?
But we do have subs that if we have a fully fit team, if you look at your defense, you've got Saliba and Gabriel.
Two centre-backs.
We've got Stones, Diaz, Laporte. Ake and Akanji, people will now say, but at the start of the season, you would not have told me that Ake and Akanji are, elite defenders. They've just now proven it. But it's it's
right
a manager.
Now,
people
right
just
now, right now.
Do you know what? We have to understand that even with us, people go, when Pep leaves, City will drop off. We will, of course, we will.
But again, it's a very big drop off if William Saliba goes on an injury break, yeah?
It is.
And then we're bringing in Rob Holding. That's the lowest.
Agreed. And that's the thing, that those little changes...
with Akanji and Ake, if he gets down to compare and contrast.
Agreed. But if we would have gone back to the show, me and you did in September, and I said Akanji is levels above Rob Holding, yeah, you wouldn't have had it, bro. You wouldn't have. I'm sorry, we bought him for 14 million. No one would have had that, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where Pep, and that's the thing that, and I actually said on a show once, someone said Arsenal have no world class on a show on AFTV, it was in fact, and a Liverpool fan was saying Arsenal have no world class players, and I said, but people might have said that about City before we won the league. People might have said that about Liverpool before you won the league. They probably would have said we've got one or two, but the minute a player, like right now, Harry Kane will get knocked at the fact he hasn't won trophies. He wins one trophy, all of a sudden, the whole narrative on Harry Kane changes. The same way with Saka, that the minute Saka gets a trophy, there'll be no doubt that he is labelled as world class. And same with Saliba, same with... I do think, do you know what? I think, because people were saying Gabriel had been better than Saliba this season. When Saliba got injured, I think maybe that highlighted just how good he is. Like last night, Ruben Diaz didn't play for us. I can tell you now, looking at the game, we looked all over the show at the back. And it's very small margins with players, very, very small margins. Like,
yeah, I get you. Ryan, please come in here. You've heard what Dap said about Godoan, you know, that Arsenal could actually benefit from his experience. See, Mikel Arteta is also going for someone from that same team, of course, to ring alarm bells to you, João Cancelo, in Bayern Munich on loan. See, are you okay with Arsenal going down to Man City? Yeah, the people would just actually chase down for the title this season, and we're actually begging them for their players, paying them huge amounts of money.
Man. Why are you putting that narrative on it?
See, Ryan, are you confident that this is what Arsenal, this is the trajectory we have to go to? Because João Cancelo is in the news, Godoan is in the news. Come on, man. And we already have 2 Manchester City players who are already in our books at Arsenal. What do you think, Ryan?
You see,
of course, absolutely, we'll counter that. I just want to know.
You see, big teams have big players. Championship, league-winning teams have league-winning players. And if you're a club that's winning the league, you don't have average players. You've got players that are good enough to win the league and experienced and know how to win the league. So if you can go and you can manage to do a smash and grab and get a player that played most of the games in a league-winning season like Cancelo did last year, there's nothing but positives, man. If it's the right style and it's the right fit for your team, there's no issues. If we went to PSG and signed a PSG player, or went to Bayern Munich and signed a Bayern Munich player, or Real Madrid or Barcelona, whoever's winning the Liga, Barcelona, if we sign one of their players, no one's raising an eyebrow. But you're signing a player who's won the league in the division that you're playing in, and all of a sudden everyone's raising eyebrows and saying and thinking that they might not be good enough. It makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. No. Listen, if it's a 36-year-old who they're releasing on a free because he's not been playing, he's not played at all, then I'll have issues with that. But if it's a player like Cancelo, who last year played week in, week out nearly enough, and this year a slight change in formation from Pep it's a change in tactic kind of thing, but the reason why he wasn't playing, and then he went on loan, he went to Bayern Munich, man, the biggest club in Germany. So the guy's not a dog, he knows how to play. And last year, people were saying he was the best left back or right back, whatever, in the league when he was on fire. I have no issue signing Cancelo, and I've also no issue with signing Gundogan if that chance comes available. But I think like this summer might be a bit different. Obviously, last year he was was he helping out a friend in letting us have the players? I don't know. Helping boost up our Champions League hopes. Then it went a bit wrong for him most of the season, where we looked like we might have won the league. it might be all challenging him at least. I think it went a bit wrong for him letting us have the 2 players, but so this year might be a bit different, obviously. But Gundogan's on a free, don't forget. So it's up to Gundogan where he wants to go. So he can't step in. He can't step in Ike's way if he wants to come. Cancelo's a bit different, but like we say, we've got Tierney leaving. The right back's a position for me that we need to strengthen. So I think Cancelo can play both. So yeah, I have no single issue signing him.
Do you know what? So
Tony,
so firstly, before we talk on Cancelo, right? Think about it from your side. We bought Kolo Touré off of you, right?
True.
We bought Nasri off of you, right?
True.
We bought Clichy off of you. We bought Sagna, right? And those 4 players straight away, yeah, they all won Premier Leagues with us, okay? Right? Let's leave Sagna. I think Sagna did. I'm pretty certain he did. He might not have. He did. Right. But Clichy, Kolo Touré, and Nasri, yeah, they're pivotal to us. They're important players. So at that point, were we buying Adebayo? Not so, but he was still part of our journey. But those 3 won a Premier League with us, right? So at that point, were we buying your scrubs, right?
Yeah.
No, we weren't. We're buying players that helped us to win the Premier League and get us over that. We bought experienced players that got us over that hurdle, right?
Over that. Yeah.
So then with Cancelo, now, this is documented. People will say, oh, I'm only saying it now. I've always had an issue with Cancelo, right? Cancelo going forward I've always compared to Trent, that going forward, yes, in the right system, he is a man that you should build a team around because he can really impact the game. But defensively, don't ever think he's good defensively. He isn't, right? He's not good defensively. And if you want to go and do the records, he's been at 5 clubs in 5 years. He's had issues at every single club. Some clubs have let him go because defensively he's not good enough. He's had issues with fans. And in January, when he came back, he was in a mood that Portugal dropped him during the World Cup. Pep played him in a position he'd previously played in as a winger, which he played at one of the first or second clubs he'd played in. And he had an argument. At that, I remember the game, it was Chelsea. And after the game, first half was also awful. Him and Walker were awful. And both of them got subbed at half time. And after the game, Pep said, I apologise to Cancelo. I'll never play him again in a position that I thought he was comfortable in. And when I heard that, I thought, oh, something's happened here. Something has happened here. Because, and he basically, they'd gotten an issue. He'd caused, I think, he'd thrown the ball at Pep. Ruben Diaz, who's his international teammate, had got involved, saying you don't do that. Foden had got involved. It was all mayhem. He's Bernardo Silva's best friend, so he's in Bernardo's ear all the time. That's why we got rid of him, right? Because Pep saw it as, this guy's causing trouble. We're not going to get the best out of Bernardo Silva. We've got in-house fighting. He needs to go. That's why we loaned him. That's why we didn't say we'll keep him for 3-4 more months. We loaned him. Yeah. Get him out now. For that reason, I said this on a show the other day. The media right now will be trying to link Cancelo with any football club, yeah, because the media knows City don't want him back. We won't have him back near our squad. There is no way. He wants back? No. Bayern Munich game, Leroy Sané's getting cheered. Cancelo is still on our books. Cancelo gets a Premier League medal. If we win the FA Cup, no, he won't get one of them. He went before, I think. If we win the Champions League, he gets a Champions League medal. We booed him because you don't fall out with Pep. You fall out with Pep, you fall out with us, right? You talk about how you want Tuchel to do to us what he did to us, Chelsea. You don't get our respect, right? Yeah. If Arteta and Pep speak, if Arteta went to Pep and said, I'm thinking about signing Cancelo, then Pep would say, I'm thinking about disowning you as my son. Yeah. Right. The guy, I'm telling you, if you're a footballer and you've been at 5 clubs in 5 years, avoid him, bro. You've got a good team spirit. Arsenal, listen, Arsenal fans need to be real, whether you like Arteta or not, yeah? For me personally, if you are on a trajectory in life, which Arsenal are, they're going up, yeah,
sure.
You don't get rid of the manager. You don't change much if it's working, yeah. Now, there's Arsenal fans that instantly thought just because you had that era under Wenger, the first season back, you're going to win the Premier League. No, you're not, right? You still had a good season, right? The groundwork is still there. The team, bro, come on, be real. You have had a good season. It might not feel that way. You've had
in 4 seasons, just an FA Cup, an FA Cup. And
do you know what? Grass is not always greener. Grass is not always greener. Get rid of him. If you get rid of him, drop out the top 4. Guarantee you. You drop out the top 4. Who are you going to get? Who are you going to bring in? Tell me. Who are you going to bring in if you get rid of Arteta?
There's Enrique out there, Ancelotti might be available quite soon, See,
and you think
I'm not.
You don't want Ancelotti, right? Also, sorry, bro. In the Premier League right now,
if there's a better manager out there,
in the Premier League right now, bro, Ancelotti is not a better manager. Tactically, Ancelotti will take you backwards. You are doing well. You're on a trajectory. If next season you finish 3rd or 4th, no problem. Conversations. Right now, it hurts. I get it. Getting rid of the man that has actually took you closer than you have been for a long time, to me, would be very, very silly. Now, look, what do I know? You know your club better than me. But to an outsider looking in, a few changes. Bro, we didn't win our first Champions League. It fucking hurt. We lost it to Chelsea, right? But you don't go, that's it, toys out the pram, Pep can't win us the Champions League, bosh, go and get a new manager. You don't do that. Because to win your first Premier League in that amount of time, and it's hard for Arsenal and United fans. I just had this conversation because you had success, right? So the minute you get a taste of success, you've got their memories that come back and expect it again. But you don't get success overnight. Like, come on.
Good. Okay, good. Dapsy, good. If Pep Guardiola is staying in your football club for the next 4 years, and he wins 1 FA Cup and 1 good run in, for the Premiership, are you going to accept him as your manager in your football
There we
club?
go. You've just answered my question. No, bro. You've just answered my question.
Tell me, what do you think?
Tony, you've just answered my question, because what I said is, as long as you are going up or staying level, because you're so high you can't get any higher, you don't change anything. But you just said, if Pep, I've been very open about this season, that I said, if we just win the FA Cup this season, that is an absolute piss poor season and questions need to be asked. But you've just said, if Pep goes from doing a 3-peat, right, and potentially doing a treble to winning an FA Cup next season, will I be happy with it? Of course I won't. But that's not what you lot are on. Right now, you've had a good season based on the season before and the season before that. To get rid of him right now would be, for me, and again, it's your club. You know them better than me. But for me, as an outsider looking in, it's overreactionary. Give him 1 more season. Give him, because I'm sure he will say, inexperienced, we need this. Give him what he needs. If he doesn't achieve, 100% thank him for changing the culture at your club, but saying now we need to take it to another level. You can't just... Come on, bro. Winning the league, it's like winning. It's not easy.
I get that completely. But it's just that, see, when you're a big football club, Arsenal is the 3rd biggest football in terms of what we've won, in this league. And sometimes you just have to demand.
Yeah, but bro, but again, you can use this. You can use this biggest club narrative. But Tony,
of the highest order,
Tony, you can use biggest club. Right, you can use biggest club as for that reason, but Preston North End used to be a big club, right? But things changed in the last 20. Do you know what? When I was 18, I could play 90 minutes. Right now, I could do 1. Right, because things change. Right, and where you are right now, respectfully, you're still a big club. By the way, for anyone that wants the big club narrative, no problem. You're a big club, but as far as trophy-wise, in the last 20 years, you're inexperienced now, right? You're not Tottenham, of course, but you're inexperienced, So but 80 years ago, we won loads of trophies. Well, how the hell is that going to help your team on the pitch or anyone right now? So that doesn't help Arteta. The shirt sales doesn't help Arteta, right? So all of that big club, I agree. Arsenal, I live down south. Arsenal are huge. They're a monster abroad. But that doesn't help Arteta with experience on the pitch of knowing how to win the league. And to go, oh, we're a big club, so we expect more. No problem. You can do that. And do you know what? You might get the right manager. If you manage to get Enrique, maybe. But it's a risk, isn't it? Because Arteta has improved you. And do people learn? Do people learn?
There's a question for you down here, yeah? See, the Southern Gunner down here is asking you a question, Daps, yeah? Let's not act as if City didn't toss some managers back before they arrived to success. That's a huge question.
Oh, it's not a huge question. Yeah? It's not a huge question.
That's a huge one.
It's not a huge one. It's not a huge one.
So you might want to answer that.
Oh, I will answer that. So if he's meaning Main Road days, yeah, we had... I think we might have the record for the most managers in like a 3 or 4 year period at Main Road when we were dog shit. Yeah. Again, this is going back to a completely different era. Under the new owners and under the Barcelona lot, we had Mancini, right, which was required. I think Newcastle will need someone like Mancini, someone that can come in and be defensively minded, I think, and win a league. Someone like Mancini.
Yeah.
Pellegrini was brought in. So before that was Sven, different owners. Yeah. We're talking about under our owners. Have City been through loads of managers? Yes. But in this reign, we've had Pep for 7 years now, right? Before that, we had Pellegrini that was very known to be a stopgap because Pep was still under contract at Bayern. Yeah. We brought in the whole damn Barcelona board because we knew Pep was coming. So under this ownership, we haven't been that player. What's this now? 500 million, 21 players, same loser mentality. What has Arteta changed? Right.
I'm sorry, my guy.
I hate your fan base, bro. I hate your fan base, man. I'm sorry. I really hate some of your fan base because it's just... If you can't see that mentality at your club has changed, right? Take Aubameyang, right? And take, I don't know, even Martinelli, Trossard, Ben White, all these players that have come in. Ramsdale. Ramsdale's a great fucking example. Ramsdale's come in. His mentality is elite. I think Ramsdale, the minute Pickford makes one mistake, could be England goalkeeper for the next 10 years. He's vocal. He's spot on. He listens to what Arteta wants. You've got a group of players that are listening to your manager. If you want to go back to getting big names that come in, I really hate saying this, but Ozil, in the maddest way, defines the worst period of Arsenal Football Club, right? And I'm not saying Ozil is not an amazing player, but when man went 2-1 down, where was Ozil? Ever, right? Ever, yeah? He was great in your bad period. He gave you great moments. Georgie Kinkladze gave me great moments at Manchester City in a very bad period. We got relegated with Georgie Kinkladze, right? So the group of players you have now are there because they believe in the project. If people don't think believing in a project is important, we're in different worlds football-wise. Because I honestly believe everyone from the chef to the receptionist to everyone at the football club has to believe, right? And this season, you lot started believing. Like I said with Champions League, we didn't believe first few seasons. You have to build belief. The players have to believe, have to see belief all over the pitch. And you have spent money, you're right. But you can't go from... Look at Chelsea this season. They've spent 600 and something million.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's true. Fact.
You've got to give them time. You've got all the things that you lot have said as to why this season's amazing with you. The number of games you've been top. The age of your squad, right? All of that, yeah. But then the minute you don't win the league, people want to use it in a negative way. And it's like, no, it is a positive. You didn't get over the line. It's mad when I do these shows with Arsenal fans and I start off wanting to cook Arsenal, but I end up getting so frustrated going, you lot, stop, man. Do you know another thing your fan base needs to do is come together and just stay faithful and actually just keep believing and not have elements that just... Because I can't stand the City fans that every season, if we go out the Champions League, go, oh, we need a better keeper. Edison's not good enough. And it's like, you're going to forget everything else he's done for this club just because of one save. And I do get it's hurting right now, but come on. Are you Arteta out, Tony?
No, I'm not. See, I'm in the middle of the whole thing. Right now, if there's a better manager out there, good and okay, but I won't be the one pushing out that dynamic.
And
right
what about
now
you, Ryan? What about you, Ryan?
You see,
in the middle right
now. Tony's got a nice seat on the fence, and he doesn't.
You are out.
Yeah, he's a bit. I think he's a bit. He likes to be a bit on the fence. Where no, I'm definitely not Arteta out. Not at this minute. Anyway, I've said for the past few weeks when the season slightly derailed, I would definitely give him at least another year, mainly because it's what you've said today, but it's what I've been saying for the past few weeks or most of the season. If you look at the last few years where he's been here, the steps that we're making and the improvements that we've made are there for all to see. And if we can keep faith with him, the improvements should just continue. But that's why I would give him at least another year just to see what happens next year, what happens in the transfer market, who we bring in. You look at the transfer market, for me, is a good look at the manager, because it's, can you bring in the players that want to play for him, that believe in his philosophy or believe in him as a manager. When you go for the bigger players, you can say you've got Champions League football, so that's a big hook for new signings. But signings don't just jump on. Players don't just jump on just because you're in the Champions League. If they think your manager is going to get sacked in the first couple of months, they're not going to come aboard. So to sit down with that, if they can sit down with Arteta and he can sell them his philosophy, his way of playing, and they can stand by that or support that, then that tells you that the players see something in him. Like you said, Pep definitely sees something in him. So if we have a really good transfer window and next season we're completely flat, then questions get asked. But 100%. I honestly believe that if we have a good transfer window, we can be just as strong next year. But I slightly believe, I've got the slight feeling that maybe other teams will do well in the transfer window, so they'll be strong next year. But that narrative was said to me last year, in close terms with mates or supporters of other clubs. I said, Arsenal, we came fifth. Next year we're pushing the Champions League, and other people said to me, "You're not going to get anywhere near it. You're going to come 7th or 8th because Newcastle are doing well and Liverpool are going to be strong. Spurs are strong. United, Chelsea." And it was exact same.
You've got the champ now, though, in the Champions League. But the key is in the Champions League. Tony.
Let's don't act as if, let's don't act as if Mancity didn't sack managers and get their success right now, They've sacked managers. Big clubs, they sack.
Are you trying to go? But Tony, I answered that. Who?
You know, they hold
no, Tony, you did this before. Tony, stop. Tony, stop. You did this before.
Chelsea Football Club is the same thing.
Tony,
Tony,
you did this before.
You can't deny.
Tell me who we sacked. Tell me who we sacked. You want to make comments? Because last time.
Greeny was sacked. I mean,
Pellegrini wasn't sacked. Pellegrini wasn't sacked.
He left or whatever.
No,
good.
He was given a 2-year contract. We just went through this. He was given a 2-year contract. At which point to cover until Pep was ready. He was not sacked. Right, so you can't say sack. You did this before, where you come out with these wild statements.
Coleman was sacked in FC Barcelona.
No, you just said City. I don't give a shit about other clubs, but just don't. Tony,
that's what I'm saying.
Tony,
I'm not saying that Arteta should go.
Tony,
I can understand it if
Tony,
our fan base want him out.
Tony, last show you did all this crap, where you were saying things that actually weren't factual, right? And when you messaged me and said, "Would I come back?" I said, "Yes, I will," right? But I don't want none of your bullshit, where you make statements that are not factual, right? Because before you tried saying City lost to Brentford and all sorts of weird stuff, right? So and by the way, that's before we did lose to Brentford, which is mad. You actually predicted that. But we got rid of Mancini. That's it, Any other managers we sacked, was when we were a completely different club, right? We sacked and we got rid of Pellegrini to get Pep Guardiola. Now, if you're telling me Jurgen Klopp is coming into Arsenal in the summer, I get it, But Ancelotti, no. Like this, Ancelotti's going to come in. No, he won't, right? right now, I look, there were points this season, being completely honest with you, where I said, if Pep was to leave, the only manager I would want to come in and replace him would be Arteta, because he knows the club, he knows the philosophy, he knows all of that. I said that, bro. Like, you lot were saying it. You lot still think he should probably be manager of the season. Some of you. You want to sack him. You're arguing the case like you do want to sack him.
No, I'm not saying they should sack him, but I'm a presenter here. I'm meant to be doing this thing objectively, not subjectively.
So objectively, if I answer a question about City getting rid of,
that's what I'm saying.
Objectively, if I answer a question,
some are saying, "Hey, this guy's inexperienced," and of course,
but
it was an inexperienced guy who learned from Pep and came into the football club. Was it the biggest out there to take the Arsenal job? Well, the answer is no. He wasn't the best candidate out there to take the job. Arsenal's a big football club. If you say that Mikel Arteta doesn't have the experience, well, it showed in the title running, didn't it?
So we are. Let's do a role play.
Yeah.
This is an Arsenal interview.
Yeah.
I am Enrique, right? You as Arsenal Football Club, when I come in and say hi, because interviews with people that are good at their job are two-way, not one-way. It's both that interviewing each other, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
I've arrived. Sell me the project to Arsenal, please. Sell me your football club. Now, don't you fucking dare say we're a big football club that haven't won a trophy because that's not a big football club, right? I don't need a history lesson. Tell me about your project. Tell me about your experience. Tell me, and that is why you got Arteta and you didn't get at the time a manager, because ultimately your board at the time will not. You don't want Simeone; he wouldn't suit your style of play. You don't want Simeone because he's on mental money that you would never pay, right? So you got a damn good manager for what he brought you, right? You got a good manager. Now moving forward. Mancini, would you take Mancini?
No,
he wouldn't suit the style of football play I want to execute in the league.
Right. So if you wouldn't take Mancini, why would you take Ancelotti?
Defensive. It's so defensive. Of course, Italian managers.
But don't you just want to win by any right? So I like that. So you don't want to win by any means, because that's good, because that's Chelsea vibe. So I like that.
Yeah, I want to play good football.
Means, yeah.
I want to play good football the Arsenal way.
Do you think Ancelotti plays good football then?
I do. I rate him, and I rate him as a big manager.
Right, he's a big manager, but for me, I think the City game in particular, because if you watch his interviews in the build-up to the City game, it was all about winning mentality. If you want to win a mentality, he'd bring you that, right? But coaching-wise, I don't think he has a clue anymore. Like, to be completely honest with you, I don't even think he steps foot on the coaching pitch anymore. You have to have the right coaches around him. Mancini may be a bit more than that, but I think it's mad you lot are having this conversation about Arteta. I really do. After the season you've had, you told me about how good a season you have, but you want to get rid of your manager.
No, see, Dabs, man, this title chase, I felt hurt. I felt betrayed. I was so goddamn confident about winning this title. See, Dabs, no matter how we're gonna put this on a spin, a team doesn't just lead the Premiership, in December, lead the Premiership.
You've been good. You've been good, man.
That happened, Dabs. Of course, you've been in the South. You've grown up around, the Premier League and everything. Where has that happened? It hasn't happened. And the way we bottled it.
No, it has happened many times. Oh, it's happened loads of times, bro.
No, but not in this way. Not 248 days at the top of the Premier League.
Not quite, but it has happened. But bro, ultimately, let me ask you a question. How good do you think Manchester City and Pep Guardiola are? Oh, you don't think we're that good now? Okay, fair enough.
I'll answer it. For me, because this is my argument for why we've not bottled the league. Obviously, we were quite clear out in front, but for me, instead of take away the narrative that we've bottled it, the Arsenal fan commenting who's losing his mind at the minute in the comments about how crap we are. It's ridiculous talk. For me, the narrative isn't that we bottled it. The narrative is that we went close against the best club football team in the world. So
that
if you
I
want to
agree,
ask me,
Man City.
if you want to ask me how good I think Man City are, I think they're the best club team in the world, and they'll show that by winning the treble, winning the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League is the hardest three trophies that you can win in one season. It's amazing that they didn't win the League Cup, considering it's the Man City Cup.
Southampton got the better of us.
They could have done the quadruple, which would have been obvious. I don't know. I'm guessing from what that no one team's ever done the quadruple, so it would have been mental. Obviously, doing the Champions League, the treble, we know of the other team that did it, but in this, it's unexpected, it's unheard of. So
you just put a downer on it, you know. You've just literally maybe I forgot about the League Cup, but now in hindsight, if we win everything,
you're not the first team. You're not the first team to do it. That's all I was saying. I wasn't trying to put it down on you. I wasn't trying to put it down on you. Tell you that Man United won the treble in '99. I wasn't. I apologise for bringing that up.
No. Listen, and do you know what? I actually.
But like I said, United for me, City are the best club team in the world. So,
but more so, do you know
we kept up with you.
Do you know what's more important than this, right? For where Arsenal are, is that because at the moment, I'm very consistent with this, that when it comes to the Champions League, I will not talk to Liverpool, definitely not. I won't speak to United fans. I won't boast to Chelsea fans. Chelsea have won 2 in 10 years. That's great, yeah. Forest, Villa, all the teams that have won it, because we haven't won it, right? We won the Premier League against Alex Ferguson. Our first Premier League, not first league, our first Premier League. We won against Alex Ferguson's Man United. Not just Man United, Alex Ferguson's Man United in injury time of the final day of the season. And that created our DNA. That is why you've seen us come from behind so many times, that we created. And it's very important about clubs creating a DNA, right? And 10 years on, last year when we won the league against Villa, I said that was very important. Completely different squad to the first time we did it, that we're now showing this is in our club's DNA, that we know how to do that now, yeah? We haven't done that in the Champions League yet. And if we do this year, it's great because we will do it while beating Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. That will create our Champions League DNA.
Dabs. Just a quick one. While Tony's highlighted a comment there, have a read of that and just have a... If you want to answer it, but I don't know, it's a joke, I think.
Hold on.
Was he upset when Pep messed around and experimented with the starting 11?
No.
And that cost the UCL.
This is why.
Imagine 3 years a non-proven manager in his first job. What do you think, Tony Barra? Thank you very much.
Not thank you very much. Listen, no, because where everyone will blame... People firstly will go Gundogan. For me personally, playing Sterling over Foden was a bit naive because Sterling's form at that point was bad. But I spoke on this earlier on. I have always said we will not win the Champions League until Manchester City's fan base believes we're going to win it, right? That was the first time going into that final we had a bit of a thought. But ultimately, it didn't matter what Pep did on the pitch. Off the pitch, none of the fans believed. Now, if you are a game-going fan, you will get what I mean, right? If you are a game-going fan that goes to away European games and experiences the power of 500 of us walking through Madrid and not giving a crap how many of them there are. Yeah.
And to be fair, you've been traveling about with the Manchester City fan base.
Has to come, the whole fan base
everywhere.
The whole fan base has to believe, Pep has tinkered. And this is the thing, right? This is a real thing with Pep. Everyone says, Pep overthinks it, right? Do you know what? Pep overthinks every single game of the season, right? I don't need to tell you how damn good Pep's win ratio is, right? But no one says when he plays a certain formation and then we go and beat Liverpool 4-1, no one says, Pep overthought that, right? When we go and beat Arsenal at the Emirates, no one goes, Pep overthought that. But if he tinkers and it doesn't work, which happens very rarely, everyone's going, he's overthought that. As an elite manager, if you are not overthinking every single damn game, then what are you being paid for? That's your job, right? Because you are coming up against other elite managers, If you can't work out, from it be mind games, from it be tactics, from it be whatever, if you can't work out, it's like a game of chess, how to beat them, why are you getting paid? So Pep overthinks every single game. People just want to pull up the ones that he loses. So Look, Arsenal, they get the right players, a bit of experience. Don't get rid of the manager, they go again. If you get a manager, you start again.
Good.
I highlighted. I wanted to.
Second to the last question for you before I apologize to you officially.
You don't need to apologize. Don't do that, by the way.
I know.
You don't.
I have
It was
to
a
do
football
it.
conversation.
But yeah, see.
Tony, can I just jump in just once? Tony, I'll just jump in 1 sec. I just wanted to highlight that comment because I think that question kind of supported what we've been saying for the past hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The fact that managers can make mistakes or they can have learning points. If you look, and we've been saying to stick or twist, and we've been saying stick, and that question answers our question 110% because if you could say that, if you believe Guardiola overthought that, if you look at PSG, for example, there's a good chance they could have sacked him after that. And now you wouldn't be where you are. If you'd have let Guardiola go, you would not be fighting for a treble or about to win the treble, I should say. And so you don't make these rash decisions because you think the manager, just because of the end of the season, the way the end of the season's gone, you think the manager's bottled it. So you make a rash decision. If you believe in him, stick with him because this is what happens. You get. Do
you know what?
You get the prizes at the end of it. You get that gold pot at the end of the rainbow.
If anyone wants to go and look at the history of Fergie, right? That Alex Ferguson was literally for a couple of months was riding the wave of being sacked from Manchester United. They hadn't won anything. They were playing Nottingham Forest in January in the third round of the FA Cup, right? Forest, I think, had won the FA Cup the last 2 years, right? And the papers were all saying if Fergie does not win this game, he is gone, right? And that game against Nottingham Forest changed the history of the Premier League forever. Yeah. He beat Forest. That season they went on and won the league, won the FA Cup. The next season they went on and won the league. The rest is history, right? They could have got rid of Alex Ferguson, for being a bit reactionary, right? You can't off the back of this season. And do you know what? Naiveties and a blip in form, because that's all it was. The fact you bounced back against Newcastle away shown you can have the fight in you. You didn't have the inexperience Newcastle had, because Newcastle should have won that game against you, by the way, at St James's Park. They should have. You bounced back and did that. And I salute you for that. You just have to learn from it and go again. And I'm with you two guys. Listen, if next season you finish third, or do you know what? Maybe even if you finish second, but don't go on a bit of a better Champions League run, FA Cup run, then I have the question. But to get rid of him now, for me, I know all Arsenal fans never want to be like spoiled Chelsea fans, If you go and get rid of him off the back of this, be careful, because all of a sudden you might be compared to spoiled Chelsea fans.
See, Dabs, you know what, I want to get this question down here because this one I've been thinking about it since you guys have come up with this treble winning season, in the offing. See, I want you to compare and contrast. If you win the treble this season, the Champions League, and the rest of the two other cups coming up, of course, you've already tied up the Premiership. I want you to compare it to Fergie's treble.
Okay. No. So you want me to compare it? No problem. I'll compare it.
Would be the most remarkable.
No. I'll compare it. I will compare it. Right,
please.
So
which one will be the best one, the sweetest one?
Hold on.
That's what I want to know.
So firstly, if you actually compare it and go and compare it, both of us went out. Both of us didn't win the Charity Shield that season. Both of us went to the third round of the League Cup that season.
True.
Whereas this season would be doing a treble third season of a three-peat, they did a treble second season of a three-peat. So again, both of us did a treble while doing a three-peat. So if you want to talk about comparing them, do you know what? As a City fan, I actually have to say people should give a bit more respect on Man United's treble, the fact that they did a treble while they were doing a three-peat, right? However, as a comparison, I always pull out this. This was what I did as a kid, right? It was 1995. We lost 3-2 to Queen's Park Rangers at Main Road, right? That season was the most I ever celebrated at Main Road. Why? Because Blackburn Rovers won the league. That's what I did as a kid. As a kid, all I did was look up and want to be like Manchester United, yeah, and celebrate Man United's L's. As a grown man, yeah, I'm so bored of, like, there's Man United fans that are building case files on why Fergie's league and treble was better. Me personally, I could not give a flying shit. Yeah. I hope by the time I arrive back from Istanbul, those conversations and any streams asking those questions are over, because all I want to be is the best Manchester City we can ever be. What them lot did.
Them questions have only just begun, mate. They've only
I get it, but bro, if you're asking me which one's sweeter, which one is sweeter? R1,
which one is sweeter?
R1, because I support Manchester City. R1, because they laughed at us for 34 years and said, never could this happen, right? Ours is sweeter, right? 100%. Also, I'd love to go and look at, just to, if we wanted to, and I wanted to be a bitter bastard, yeah, I could then say the season that they did their three-peat, did their under-21s also achieve a three-peat? Did their under-18s also achieve a three-peat?
Oh my God, you're going for the chip shot.
This season, understand, it's not just our men's team. Our under-21s have done a three-peat. Our under-18s have actually done a quad, four-peat, yeah? Fourth time winning the league. So, but, bro, I'm a City fan. Let them lot do what, like, let them lot get mad and get angry. And it's funny to see, because as a kid, we were nothing to them, yeah? So the fact that now they're getting so wound up by us, that's beautiful. But when we win the Champions League, I don't care. I'm celebrating with Blues. I don't care about them lot no more. Like, we don't live on the same street. We're not the noisy neighbours. We live in a different road to you now.
If Manchester United fans come up with that, hey, you guys have the resources, it's because you were bought by the, by the old guys. That's why.
Okay, no problem. So you want an answer to that, bro? Let's be real. One day,
what would you say?
One day, someone will create some sort of algorithm that works out the amount spent based on there it was. If you really want to go into history, Manchester United at a time, were bought out, like back in the day, were bought out by farmers that had a lot of money, right? Manchester United, what Man United fans deep down want, and probably some Arsenal fans, is that there was a monopoly on the Premier League, where ultimately Man United, the top four, and no one else can spend any money. Because if it is based on that, no one could ever catch up. Manchester United were back in the day spending more money than anyone. Yeah, let's be real. They were. If they needed, how much? Rio Ferdinand's price back then was insane, right?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was insane.
Ridiculous amount.
Like he was going for, was it like close to 40 million? Yeah, where only a few years ago, if a defender was 40 million, people like, that's a lot of money, but. No one will talk on that. And that's the mad thing. When I was a kid, no one talked about the size of your fan base. No one talked about how your owners earned their money. No one talked about any of that, yeah? And I get it. We're a little club. We're a small club. Call us a small club. I'm happy with being a small club, right? If that's all you have to do, all you have to say about my club, no problem. And you know what? Just throw it in there. Throw that I only supported them since 2020, if you want as well. If that makes you happy, no problem. No problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, MCFC Daps in the building. See Daps. Thanks for joining us today, man. You're the man. And you know what? Yeah,
I was just going to say, after you said that, the 2020 comment, how much did that program cost you on eBay? That QPR one.
Do you know what? I wish I've never actually looked at any of that stuff on eBay as well. I got a picture the other day of my daughter in a shirt, because when people go, oh, is that a tradition? You know, you can buy like shirts from back in the day. And someone said, oh, is that traditional one? I'm like, do the maths. Do you think, bro, if I could fit in any of them, I wish. I absolutely wish. Now, I don't. Yeah. Listen, I used to be a season ticket holder at Main Road. My story is out there, but the maddest thing is I never used to get asked. When we first moved down here, so I moved down south when I was 16. And when we first moved down here, I used to get asked who I support. And I'd say City. And people would say to me, oh, I like them. You know, you're a loyal fan base. Because you've got to remember, third tier of English football, 35,000 week in, week out. It's documented, right? No. The only other club to do anywhere near that is Sunderland, right? When we moved down here, that's all I got until we won a trophy. The minute we won a trophy, if I told anyone I supported City, the first question was, how long have you supported them for? And it is the way to get me. Anyone that wants to wind me up, it does piss me off massively. I still get it from my own. I get it from my own. I get it from dickheads that don't go to too many City fans, too many City games, but just because they're from Manchester and have an accent, think they're more loyal than me. I get that from them. And I say, no problem. When we get to Mary D's, where all the actual City lot are, ask them how long I've supported City. Ask them how loyal I am, because it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Do you know what? It's funny when I find Arsenal fans in Manchester, because there's a few of them, and I find that mad. But
Dabs, you're looking at one. You're looking at one right here.
And I bet you get it as well. I bet you get it.
I'm an Arsenal fan living in Wigan, which is
Wigan,
Greater Manchester. So,
he lives in Wigan.
Yeah. So you're looking at one, mate. You're looking at one. But funny thing is, no one can call me a Glory supporter because we won fuck all, mate. So there was a point, probably a point about 10 a bit more years ago, where people would say, "Oh, you're a Glory supporter," but now, like, even after that, I'm like, what glory hunting am I doing? We're not doing. There is no glory. So
Ryan, just a tricky one here.
I'm not being asked that now.
Just a tricky one. If Manchester City wins the Champions League, will you say Man City is bigger than Arsenal? Just one word. If Man City wins the Champions League, will you say that Man City is a bigger club than Arsenal Football Club?
I can't say that, because I'm just an Arsenal fan. And
can't say that because it's not true as well.
It's not a comment that, well, fair enough. It's fair true enough from Dabs, but it's a comment that I could never say. I could say it about probably a handful of teams, but even then, I don't know. Is it? You just don't see. It's something that you wouldn't say. They've won. I could say they've won bigger trophies than us because they've won the Champions League and we haven't. I'd have to say that because it's just facts. But in terms of, we sell shirts all over the world. Obviously, City do now as well, and we're a massive team and people watch us. So, but just mainly because I'm a supporter of the team, and I ride and die by the Arsenal by the Arsenal name. So I couldn't say that, man. No,
Tony,
I couldn't say that.
So let me ask you a question.
Dabs, are you?
What? Oh, no, I need to hear this question now. Your internet's gone, mate. Your internet knew you were going to ask a stupid question.
So while his internet's dropped, I'll jump on. So obviously I answered that, Dabs, and you said that it weren't true. So explain, man. Explain.
Look, that's what I wanted to ask him. Tony, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
What were you going to ask? What were you going to ask first?
Yeah, I was just saying. See, if you win that Champions League this season, are you a more bigger club than Arsenal?
Bigger club.
Arsenal dead and buried around you?
Define bigger club.
In terms of what you've won, the trophies you've won, what you've done, successes.
Right. Okay, so as far as the size of a club, I couldn't care less about the size of a club. I really couldn't. If you want to brag about how big your fan base is, if you want to brag how sexy your shirt is, if you want to brag how many days you were top of the league but didn't win it, if you want to brag about how many trophies you won before a war, any of that, Arsenal are a bigger club, bro. Like, Arsenal are a bigger club. The one I won't have is Chelsea fans, by the way. When Chelsea fans, because I've had this recently, where Chelsea fans say, "Oh, but before money." Now, let me just give you a real quick one. City got bought out in 2008. Chelsea got bought out in 2003, right? So let's go with trophies won before 2003, before either club, were bought. Because I've realised that people hear this narrative: City won nothing before money, and they actually think it's true. So before 2003, Chelsea had won 6 major trophies. Before 2003, Manchester City had won 9, including doing a League and European Cup double. We'd won 2 leagues. We've had 3 seasons of winning trophies every single season. So any Chelsea fans out there that want to know, like, you lot really are, I get the Champions Leagues now, But before money, Chelsea. Yeah, City had history, but you're a bigger club, bro. Arsenal are the biggest club in London. That's the narrative. If anyone else wants to try and have big, Arsenal are the biggest club in London. Yeah. Also, trophy-wise, yes. Domestically, yes. Now, Europe is an awkward conversation for you lot because your bragging rights for donkey's years was 19 years on the bounce in Europe. In those 19 years, you got to one final and one semi-final. Manchester City have been in the Champions League for 12 years, have now got to 4 semi-finals and 2 finals, right? Yeah. However, neither of us have won it yet. One of us needs to win it, right? Once we win that, we can say that we've won more we've won a bigger range of trophies than Arsenal. But
exactly.
Look, we can't. But that doesn't make us a bigger club, and I don't care. Arsenal are a huge club, right? Do you know what? You've probably underachieved a little bit as far as Europe is that one sticking point. And what peeves me a little bit is that we get asked about Europe all the time. Arsenal kind of got away with being asked about it, right? Because if you lot will start winning, and that's probably because social media wasn't about then. If you lot don't do well in the Champions League next season, be prepared that everyone's going to come for you, bro. Because even more so, you win a league and then it's the bragging rights that everyone wants to have. But look, we're a team growing. Like, I've got a lot of friends who support Arsenal. Their kids want to support City, right? And that's because they're seeing the football. And same way, why do people like Arsenal? If you grew up watching Henri, Bergkamp, Overmars, Lundberg, Vieira, list could go on. Even Ray Parlour, I used to rate. To be fair, if you grew up watching that,
Ray Parlour's a quality player, man, absolute quality player, genius on the ball.
Rocky Rocastle. Look, if you grew up watching Arsenal, you support Arsenal because they played damn good football. When you go back and see some of the goals that they scored, oh my God, even against our team, that's why we support them. Now, in the next 5 years, you're going to have a massive amount of City fans. That's just the way football works. But do you know what? If people want to keep calling us a small club and saying our club's bigger than your club, no problem. I agree with you.
No problem. See, guys, Daps in the building, Daps in the flesh. See, Daps, I know when you came here the last time,
Don't apologise. Please don't apologise. You didn't speak rudely. You spoke passionately about your club. You don't. I don't want you to apologise. I'll be offended if you do.
Dabs, I've been telling him. I've been telling him this for the past few days.
I take it back publicly.
No,
because
just
I didn't
see
hear
it as naivety.
I take it back
bro,
publicly.
you weren't rude. You were just passionate.
Like that. I showed disrespect.
You didn't, bro. You didn't go at me. You were just passionate about your club.
This is what I've been telling him. This is what I've been telling him. He's been confident about his team. He's been positive all season. And I honestly, I said to him, not 10 minutes before we started, and I said to him on the phone the other day, just throw the Conor McGregor line out there. Just say, you know what, Dabs, I apologise to absolutely fucking nobody.
Exactly.
I wanted us to win the league. I was happy that we was playing well. Don't apologise for being happy just because you've got other guys saying that we're not going to win the league.
Ryan, in case maybe I forgot to tell you, I lost £100 wager against him, and he just told me, you know what? I don't need the money, man. That's a good gesture for me, man. It's a good gesture.
Look, I don't.
It's a good gesture.
You know what? You know what?
All that crap I spoke out.
I've made that wager because, like, I remember being on Football Terrace once, and another Arsenal fan, that Duad, right? This was last season, and I was so confident City were going to win, and then the person hosting it said, "Well, if you're that confident, back it with a wager." I said, "Okay, well, and he said, but it has to be if Arsenal get a draw or a win, he wins. If City win, you win." I said, "Okay, no problem. If Arsenal get a point or win, I'll give him £100." And they said, "And what do you want if Arsenal lose?" I said, "To shave his head off." I don't like. The only thing is, the only reason I do it is, and by the way, if you would have won the league, if you would have won the league. But if you would have won the league, I would have given you the money, right? But the only reason I actually make these bets is that I want you to understand that this is how we feel now. We honestly believe you. And what you were saying at the time was right. Like, elements of it. but you were doing well. You were overcoming all the hurdles. But I said respect to you, and you were going, no, but we need more respect. It's like, it's September, bro. I'm not going to give you more damn respect. Because remember what I said? I said to you, and I remember this. I said, look, 2 years ago, I said, right, I don't want to entertain this conversation in September, October, November, December. 2 years ago, Manchester United were top in January, and the whole world laughed at them for claiming we're top in January, including your fan base and my fan base, right? But you as an Arsenal fan in September wanted me to give you respect for being top in September. Tottenham are often top in fucking December, bro. Look at where Tottenham are finishing now. Like, top in those months is just...
No
City start badly. But listen, it's been a pleasure to come on. Pleasure to meet you as well, Ryan. And
yeah, man,
you too, mate.
See, Dabs, please shout out to where people could find you, man.
Yeah, Never a Foul, where we do daily content. Not just me, we've got Cass, who's a United fan, Ty, who's a United fan, Mo, who's an Inter fan, and then we have a bag of other people on from all other clubs. Daily content, just talking football. Yeah, and it's been a pleasure to come on. And listen, don't ask for Arteta's head to be chopped because it won't end well.
Exactly. See, yeah, guys, yeah, see, this comment here just sums up everything about Daps to here today. Say, Daps is a real one. Chart, respect him. See, Ryan, what do you have to say to our big guest who came here?
I'm not a big guest either. I'm a football fan like you two.
Yeah. Ryan, please, do you have any words for Dabs who came to bless our show? He's been here before. You weren't here when he came around, but now he's come down here to bless it. I believe I've made things right with him right now. So, Ryan, do you have any words to say to our big guest who came down here? You know, whenever we have a big tier one YouTuber, a pundit coming down here, it's a big freaking pleasure, man. Big freaking pleasure, because many other people, I'm saying this passionately, because many other tier one YouTubers don't want to give little channels a chance. But for Dabs to come down here, he's not feeling fine, as you can see right now. But he left everything and came down to this show. Respect to you, my brother, and I love you, my brother. Big up to you.
Love. Ryan, you don't need to say anything about me. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Listen, I had nothing to say anyway. So,
good.
No, obviously only joking. Just thanks for taking time out and coming to speak to us. And very humble, which was sound. You could have just laughed for an hour and 27 minutes and then there's nothing we could have done. We had to just sit here while you laughed for 127 minutes. But you're very humble in how you spoke. So,
thank you.
Respect for coming down.
Yeah.
And and listen, hopefully we win the Champions League. If we don't, egg on my face.
Guys, clip that, guys.
I've said it. I think we're going to win it.
All right.
I'll be there this time next week. I'll be in Istanbul, so I'm just happy to be there, man.
Happy to be there, right? Yeah, we'll be keeping tabs on that. Yeah, I don't wish you guys to win that trophy because I don't want you guys to have bragging rights over Arsenal. So it to be enemy settings right there. See, yeah, big up to everyone who came down to the show to show us love.
Tony, just one sec. Tony,
yeah.
Everyone still watching, anyone still in the chats, if you're on for the Ryan and Claude show, we're coming through on Sunday and we're going to review the season. So anyone in the comments who wants to get involved on Sunday, follow us in a signing of the season, player of the season, young player of the season, a surprise side of the season or your weakest side. Anyone that didn't, I say weakest side. Not everyone say Chelsea like I expect you all to do. I'd say someone else maybe, but if you want to say Chelsea have been the weakest side or the most underachieving side, but yeah, and manager of the season, goalkeeper of the season, all that. If you can list them and then whack them in the comments on Sunday, and we'll obviously me and Tony we're going to have ours as well. So we'll have a nice season review on a Sunday at the after all the games. So the Ryan and Claude show on Sunday to the faithful followers we have down here. And like we always say, love yous all and God bless to everyone that turned up.
And also tomorrow, join me and Deji Spores, of course, for the Minority Report episode 31. Deji Spores, the Mountie
Deji, good guy, man.
Will be coming down here. Big ups, MC Daps. Big ups to you, Ryan, and catch you soon. Big ups.
Love.
Bye now.